Welcome to this lecture on the second module, Design and Software Process. Today we'll see how to recognize the goals of users, why they are important, as well as the formal goal-directed design process. So, what are goals or the user goals? Why we should recognize them? Rather, we need to recognize the user's exact goals before we start designing the system, because the goals may be totally different than what the designers think. For example, I'll give you one example of WhatsApp. Example of WhatsApp. There are other social media communication applications which were functionally superior to WhatsApp. In the case of, let us say, security, there are other functional features, but they could not succeed as good as WhatsApp. So one reason being they are not aligned with the user's goal. Users expected the application to be very simple to use. For example, you might have seen that in the case of WhatsApp, it is only the user phone number that is what is required. Once the user installs WhatsApp, it is ready to be used. In the case of other applications, for example, you need to have one email, you need to register to that app, and then you can use that. So that may be one issue which is not aligned with what the users expected that application to be in to behave. The point here being the users goal are not matching with what is expected by the designers, or designers think in a different way than what the users think. One more example, a college management wants to have a website for its college, and that contract is given to one software company, for example, web designing company. So they may anticipate that the college is wishing to build a static website, for example, and they may build accordingly. But actually, the management what wants that website to be designed as a content management system, not a static website, wherein they could upload something on their own, they could change something, some content, for example. So if the users goals are not taken into account, obviously the system will fail. And that is the reason why the design process should involve user to recognize his or her exact goals. Normally a prototype is prepared after identifying the goals, which is indicating how the system will behave once it is developed. So that prototype must ensure that the system is user friendly. User friendly in the sense that the user feels at home while using that system. The mental model is taken into account. For example, so previously the system may be digital or that may be manual. So the function is being performed by the user, and that way of doing that particular thing or operation is somehow maintained. The mental model is retained in the current system as well, as much as possible, so that user always feels that the system is user friendly. Provides feasibility to the user. There may be many ways of performing one operation depending on the user's experience, knowledge, skill, etc. So the system must provide to achieve that one particular goal in various ways. This is what is called as feasibility, we have seen previously. One may prefer command line over GUI. Some other users may prefer GUI over command line. So it is possible, for example, in other cases, there may be some wizard which is in addition to uh, manual ways. So that kind of feasibility has to be provided. The system has to be effective in operation. Whatever the user wishes, that must be provided as much as possible. User wishes something and the system does not provide up to that mark, that will not be called as effective. The system has to be effective. The prototype should ensure that. And very important is that the user is able to enjoy the system operation. So the overall tasks which are performed to achieve the user goal should be enjoyable. So once the prototype is done, that particular user interface so designed should be presented to the user before the actual implementation of that thing starts, because it is easy to incorporate the changes before the implementation starts. Moreover, minimum changes are required to be done if users goals and the related tasks are considered in the beginning stages of the design. So we have been speaking of users goals and the tasks. So now we'll deal in detail what are the goals and tasks with some example. At the beginning, goals change less frequently. So what are goals? One example is that the user wishes to create an effective document, text document for example. So uh, what exactly he wishes? He wishes to create a document which is free of spelling errors, which is free of grammatical errors, which has got nice textual fonts and other presentation aspects. So these are the different tasks. So removing the spelling errors, removing the grammatical errors, of being able to format the text in a different attractive fonts and colors, and the other presentation aspects. So these are the overall tasks. I mean, he or she will first type the document, type the text basically, and there are issues regarding how to help the user type the document. Are there auto corrections, auto suggestions, for example? So these are various tasks that can be there in creating one effective document. So the goal is same, to create an effective document, but depending on different versions of the system, some of the tasks may be implemented in each individual new versions. For example, at the beginning only spell check is present, then in the new version grammar check is implemented, maybe in the new version some kind of auto corrections and maybe auto suggestions, they are present other than the formatting aids. So this is how tasks may change in new versions, updates, but the goal is same, to create an effective document. So that will change less frequently as the tasks are changed. Tasks will be changed more frequently, but the aim to create the achieve the same goal of creating the effective document. So this is what is called as the activity centered design, ACD, which is proposed by Don Norman. So in which he considers how people interact with the world in the ACD, activity centered design process. So how the people behave while using the system, or maybe performing one particular task, that is first observed. and those individual tasks are identified to mimic in the system. Now, with this particular background, you may find goal and task in automated customer care telephone interface. Here, ultimately, the goal is to provide a customer uh, instantaneous support where the user is not required to wait for a manual customer care representative, for example. Simple knowledge help can be provided without a person being there. So, this is a goal, customer satisfaction, and providing help as early as possible without any wait. But then, how the tasks are required there? How many different tasks are required? So the user must be presented with some options for which user can dial a particular corresponding number based on the task category, and in that category there may be subcategories which are then spoken to the user. User may once again select a corresponding number wherein a pre-recorded answer may be present which is given to the user, which is spoken by the system, and the user gets the required information. There may be one option to talk to actual uh, personnel of that company. A manual communication may be required in that case, so that may be also presented. So these are the different tasks of providing instantaneous help to user over the automated customer care telephone interface. So now that we know that to design the UI, the user interface as per the goals and tasks of users, user should be considered in the design process itself, and that calls for the user research, or which is called as formally market research, which will identify the following things: how users use the system. There may be a manual system previously which the users are currently using, or there may be some other computer or any electronic system already in hand which the users are using. So to we should observe, the designer should know how the users are actually using that system. What are the technological systems which can be incorporated? Now that we can implement the system using an Android application, we can implement that using a cloud application, for example, as a standalone application or a web app. Whether concept like machine learning or artificial intelligence can be incorporated. So what all technological systems which can be incorporated for achieving that goal, designing that system? Are there any ready-made information resources which we can tap, which we can be utilizing in that application? Is there any way of integration so that the system can be divided into different modules, and those modules can be parallelly designed, or any other systems are there which can be integrated with the system being designed? So basically, rather than creating a software application or a system and then marketing that system with its features, the actual idea of market research is the would-be clients or intended users are first interrogated. We take the designers take their interviews, which is called as market analysis. There is a formal process of research we'll now see. So systematic research and review report is created by having an interview with the would-be clients. what they require, what are their expectations, needs, and things like that. So they which now is taken into interface design and prototype by the designers. So which is based on the output of that systematic research, which is then results into the development of the software system, and that system which is in accordance with the needs and goals and expectations of the current or would be clients. These needs, these goals, these expectations are now imbibed into that software application, and that's why it becomes very much aligned with the clients, and that's why it is more likely that the users or the clients will be ready to purchase, use that particular application. If otherwise the designers think in some other way and they design that application in their particular way, but they think, it is highly unlikely that the users will be willing to use that system. So this is the importance of market research, and this is the first phase of the formal goal directed design process that we are going to see now. It is very important part of human machine interaction design. So the goal directed design process basically has got those different phases as can be seen here with different circles, and they are sequential as it is indicated by these arrows. Further, the different circles are having some parts mixed, so that indicate some part of the first phase is mixed with the second phase, and the second phase, the part of a phase, second phase is also mixed with the third phase, and so on and so forth. So we'll see the individual phases of the goal directed design process. The first is the research phase, which we have seen with the previous example as well, which consists of field surveys. Basically there'll be contextual interviews with observations of the system behavior. So what are contextual interviews? They are not simple interviews which are taken into the developer's cabin. Rather, the designers will be approaching the users where they are supposed to use that system. That is what is called as the context of the system. That may be one factory location which is having some noise, which is having many people working together. So that is the context of that system usage. So how the system will be used, in what particular context it will be used, that will be interviewed. Further, the designers will also be observing the users using the previous systems. So we have seen that in previously with respect to ethnographic interviews, where the interviewer or the designer basically, uh, uh, I mean, it uh, lives there for many days, for example, or a lengthy duration, to identify the cultural aspect, the behavioral aspect of the users. Now, this particular field survey with those contextual interviews and observations will give the basic user info, what the users are, what are their knowledge levels, what are their experience levels, skills levels, etc. What are the other competitive products available in the market? What are the exact user expectations? What expectations which are not being fulfilled by the competitive products, and that's why user expect these things which are that can be implemented, as well as the general reviews. This essentially identifies the behavioral patterns, how the users behave while using the existing systems. What are the personas? Persona is basically the model of users, different types of users, the representation of the users. There may be experienced users, there may be experienced and skilled users, as well as some newbies, not that skilled users, for example. So different types of users will require different, will have different expectations from the system, and there obviously will be some constraints, as you have just said, depending on the context of that system. Something may be done, may be easily done to be something may not be possible, it may not be possible to be for something it is not that easy to be incorporated. For example, being if the surrounding is noisy, whatever notifications that we are going to give in that system should be supported with loud bips, so that that can be observed by the user. So constraints, something can be done, something cannot be done. It may not be possible for some kind of, let us say, if the environment is surrounded by many people, there may be what is that, there may be communication, or the user may not be able to concentrate well. So these are some of the constraints. The next is modeling phase. This builds domain model as well as user model from the output of the previous, the research phase that we have seen previously. So the second modeling phase we are going to see now. Domain model contains the information flow and the workflow. How the information is first input, what different data is input, and how that flows through the system to create certain information, and what different functionalities are present, the workflow. The user model attempts to further describe the persona as well as the behavioral patterns along with the user's goals and motivations. So, a model describing the way in which the information flows, the functionalities, as well as the user persona will be developed here. So, next is requirement gathering and definition phase. This identifies the important user tasks to achieve the user goals. So we have seen previously different tasks possible in customer support system, telephone system. There may be different tasks to achieve a particular goal. So what different user tasks are there for achieving a particular goal? Those are identified. So this defines how to fit these tasks into the user models and the design framework. User model, we have seen that the personas are identified depending on their different characteristics. So for experienced users, the tasks need to be very much efficient. For uh, new users which are not that skilled, the tasks are designed to be very simple, so that they are they feel at home, they feel the system to be user friendly. So depending on the user model, the task need to be designed. So this is the requirement gathering and or requirement definition phase. So next is the framework phase, which is next to the requirement gathering. So here the basic framework for system design is developed, which will describe the behavior as well as the visual display in the system. Behaviors means how the functionality will be developed, as well as how the system will be presented, which is the visual display. Interaction framework, that is basically concerning more onto the UI and UX, user interface and user experience. For example, in the case of UI, that interaction framework may give details of the color schemes as well as the styles. Here prototypes can also be created. This is the framework phase. So after framework we come to refinement and then to support. So the refinement phase here, which is similar to the framework phase which is previous to that, but this particular refinement phase has got more focus on the design details and implementations. So how design can be refined so that it becomes easy for implementation. Now from the higher level design we come to some lower level design issues. Those are sorted out and they are specified here. For example, a detailed storyboard may be prepared. A storyboard is a pictorial representation of the data flow as well as the functional things in the system. For example, in a web app, for example, different web pages, what are their contents, how they are placed, they may be drawn in different rectangles which mimic the pages. So designers have one a preview of how the web pages are required to be implemented. They already know the scope, where to go, where to stop. That becomes very easy with the storyboard. Now, any deficiencies, limitations in the design done up till this phase are now found out, they are removed so that the design becomes refined and hence it will match with the user's goal and task more appropriately. Next is the, which is the last stage, the last phase is the support phase. Now it has been seen that we are up till this stage, all the stages or all the phases, we have taken utmost care to consider the user's task and goals and tasks, and we have tried our best, or the designers have tried their best to match that system to the user requirement. Even though some requirements may not be reflected in the final product, the reasons may be some limitations like scarcity of resources. Some resources are not that enough, for example money or time, that may not be sufficient to incorporate all the requirements given by the user. It may so happen that whenever in the first the research phase as well as the requirement definition and phase, we take the user requirement, but the user is not aware of all the, user cannot conceive, anticipate all the requirements at the initial phases, and that's how whenever the implemented system is presented to the user, some new requirement may be given by the user which he or she was not able to uh, tell at the beginning, and that is the very reason that continuous refinement and support are always needed. So as the user starts to use that system, some more requirements may pop up. User may feel some more requirement and a new feature may be required, and that has to be generated. And while generating that new feature, some new requirements may pop up, some new lacunae may be seen, and those are required to be implemented. Once again, the refinement and the support for that will be needed, and that's a continuous process. So we have seen that previously as well. So this was all regarding that goal directed design process, which basically uh, tells that taking into consideration users goal is, and the corresponding task is very important for the product design. So thank you. The resources are also available on my blog and the YouTube channel. Thank you.